Hey girls, thank you for tuning into my channel for this story time today. This is such a crazy story. I was going to put it in a vlog, but I had to make it its own separate video. I'm also going to do a little bit of a get ready with me. I'm going to be channeling my Jackie Ina, so bear with me as I try to do my makeup and tell y'all this story, but I'm going to hop right into it. So it's Thanksgiving. I just traveled to Atlanta with my boyfriend to visit his family for Thanksgiving, so that was great. Like, his family's super sweet. His aunts, uncles, grandma, everybody's there. And so it's a nice normal Thanksgiving day. You know, we have breakfast in the morning, we're chilling, everything's going good. Later, after, everybody take the family pictures and everything, everybody's eating. We're just all sitting down, chilling, chit-chatting. And we notice my boyfriend, his sister, she's standing next to this guy and no one really knows who this guy is. So we're kind of just like, no one's saying anything. I'm definitely not saying anything. I'm really a guest. So I'm just like, okay, I don't think anything of it, but everybody speaks. And he has a Caribbean family, so everybody really speaks. So, I kind of passed by. I'm like, hey, he didn't really say anything. He didn't speak at all. So I was like, okay, whatever. I didn't think anything of it at the time. So I go sit down. I'm sitting with my boyfriend. I'm sitting with his aunt and two of his cousins. And so we're just sitting and we're like, I guess I'm gonna have to give them names for the story. So I guess her name is gonna be Ashley, his sister, who I'm talking about. Ashley, and then the guy who we don't know, we're gonna call him Marco. So one of his cousins was like, oh, who is Ashley with? Like, who is that guy that Ashley's with? And we're like, oh, we don't know, but we thought the same thing because he didn't say anything to anybody. And so we're kind of just chit-chatting about that, but we were like, Marco looked kind of old, don't he? Like, we're like, yeah, like Marco didn't really speak, so we don't really know who this is. So we start talking about that, and Marco looks kind of old. Like, Marco looks like he's like 28, 26 to 28. That was definitely what we thought. Not he looks old, but we were like, he's definitely older than Ashley. That was everybody's big thing. So we all get to talking about it. And then my boyfriend's aunt is like, or both of his aunts, they were like, you know what? We're going to go question them. Because they were in the downstairs room, just like sitting with each other. So they were like, we're going to go and, like a good auntie, like go and interrogate this guy. So we're like, okay. So me and his cousin, we go downstairs to like fake act like we're like playing with the kids and stuff, like they're playing like Mario Kart on the TV. So we just like sit down there like we're fake engaged in that while we ear hustling bad to hear what the aunts are saying. So the aunts, they're like, Marco, like, first of all, and I'm calling him Marco, we didn't even know his name at all. I'm like trying to remember if we got his name later. So they asked Marco though, they're like, oh, where'd you go to school? Because Ashley is still school age. So we're like, or his aunts were like, hey, like, Marco, when did you graduate school? Where'd you go to school? Mind you, we're trying to ear hustle, but we're sitting far away, so I couldn't really hear what he said. But turns out he said that he had graduated high school in 2019. Okay, and so, but mind you, Marco does not look, he doesn't look, what, 23, 22, 23? Marco looks at minimum 26, minimum. And so we're like, okay, cool. And then they kind of turn and they trying to make it jokey, like they're not interrogating him. They were like, oh, this is our niece. So, we got to find out, about you, find out who you are. And of course, if you're coming over for Thanksgiving, what else do you expect? Like, when I came over for Thanksgiving last year, like, dude, that was the first year me and my boyfriend had dated. Like, of course, they're going to ask you questions. Who are you? Try to learn more about you. Very normal. They weren't asking anything crazy or out of pocket. So Marco, he respond, but then he's giving this the whole time. He's on the phone. Like, he'll respond and get right back on his phone. Like, he's not really trying to engage them at all. So that was also making it awkward. So then his other aunt is like, she's like, oh, how old are you? She was like, you look kind of, she didn't even say that. I'm throwing that in there, but he looks mature. So she's asking him how old he is flat out. But she's just like, hey, like, how old are you? And he was like, I'm like, and it sounded like he said, I'm like, and he goes, I'm 26. Um, and we were like, huh, okay. Because everybody heard him hesitate to say his age. So that was already throwing it off. But mind you, he's answering questions and then getting right back on himself. So Marco actually sitting next to, they're not even talking to each other. I'm sure they were probably texting each other back and forth because he would just answer a question, look back down at his phone, and was not engaging in the conversation at all. So that gets kind of dry because obviously the aunts are picking up that he is not trying to have a conversation with them. So they start having their own conversation. Me and my boyfriend's cousin, we're just kind of like, okay, this is dry. So we go back upstairs, and my boyfriend's mom is up there. So she was asking the same question. She's like, who is Ashley with? Like, who is that? Or she knew who it was, but Ashley's dad did not know who it was. She was like, yeah, like Ashley told me that, Marco was going to come over here. But I just realized that Ashley's dad did not know that this boyfriend is coming over for Thanksgiving. So the dad's already kind of irritated. But he doesn't know that everyone's already gossiping about this because everyone's trying to figure out who is this random guy that's here. So we're all sitting in the living room now. It's now becoming like the gossip, which is why I love Thanksgiving. Like, this is totally the whole gossip of the night now. Girl, I don't forgot I was supposed to be doing my makeup. Like, I don't know how the girls be doing this. This is a lot. We're all talking about it. We're like, oh my God, who is this dude? And obviously he's lying about his age. That's what really becomes the topic of the conversation. It's not a problem that she has a boyfriend or anything. He's obviously much older. And so we're all sitting down in the living room. We're talking about it. Oh, by the way, I'm using Dior Backstage in the shade. Oh, 6W. Dior Backstage. Really a creamy foundation, and I really just like how like glowy it is. Like, if you like glowier looks, this is definitely a good foundation for you. So we're talking about it. The mom is like, well, I don't really know how old he is either. Like, I've never really met the guy. He was supposed to come last Thanksgiving, but he didn't. So she's been with this guy potentially now over a year and hasn't ever come over here, and now just shows up for Thanksgiving and hasn't spoken to anybody. Interesting. So now it's like just going on and on and on. The aunts come back upstairs from after, I guess they kept trying to ask him questions, and they just could tell. They were so irritated, by the way. They come upstairs, they're like, what is this? Like, who is this guy? Like, this was a waste of time. Because he will not talk. So then when we're all sitting down there, the dad keeps walking by. So everyone's like trying to be like, and then the guy, shortly after the aunts come back upstairs, the guy, Marco and Ashley, they come upstairs from the basement. And they're like, they don't say anything. They don't say goodbye to anybody, like nothing. They leave. But now the uncles got involved because the uncles hear all the hush hush whispering, and they're also wondering who the guy is too. So it turns out, I don't know if I said that my boyfriend's family is Caribbean. They're from St. Croix. So it turns out the guy is from St. Croix, and one of my boyfriend's uncles starts like, he's like, I feel like we know this guy. St. Croix is a small island, so they were like, we can find out who this guy is just based off of a name. So they had gotten his name, so they get on Facebook. They're on Facebook. They pull him up super quick. Why does his Facebook show using Makeup Forever HD Skin Concealer? Facebook show he graduated high school in 2009. 2009? Y'all, can you imagine? You're thinking that your daughter is dating someone who's maybe a year to a couple years older than them. He's like 32. So now that's when it really kicks off. But now they're wanting to confront him, but he has left. Doesn't come back. So he leaves with Ashley. Marco and Ashley leaves together. They didn't say they were leaving, by the way, just like did not speak. It was just the whole thing was really bizarre. Did not say anything. Then I guess he drops Ashley back off. Also, that's like I said, this is just how I do my makeup. I don't do anything crazy. I just do my makeup how I do it, child. How you do your makeup is how you do it. And also trying to do your makeup on camera is so much harder. Like, shout out to the beauty girls because they make it look so easy to do this. And oh my god, it's a lot. Anyway, so he drops Ashley off. We're all waiting for him to come back inside too because we're like, obviously everyone's gonna say something now because now it's like, we thought you were a little bit older, girl. You are grown. You're grown. And I guess he was telling the uncles that they met at work. Mind you, my boyfriend's sister works at like a fast food, kind of like a mall food court kind of place, whatever. So we're like, okay. You met at work or did you meet her while she was working? Like, it was one of those kind of things where it was very unclear. And his sister just is like not one to talk. Like, she's just not gonna give it up. And so at this point, of course, we're dragging it out. Now, everyone wants to talk about the tea, but it's like, you find out this guy lied to her aunts point blank, telling them that he, you know, is 26 years old. He's 32 years old. And so, guys, it was crazy. It was insane. I couldn't believe it. Oh my gosh. And then, making it even worse, when they looked him up on Facebook, they had like mutual friends. So my boyfriend's uncle has mutual friends their age with that guy. And so it was kind of this whole thing of like, if you've been dating this guy so long, like, how serious can the relationship be? You know, he was supposed to come Thanksgiving last year. No one knows who this guy is. Like, what's the tea? And she just would not come up off of it. So then his aunts were finally like, bro, like, someone needs to say something. Someone needs to say something to her dad. But we were like kind of leaving it to my boyfriend's mom, because that's like her, you know, like her stepmom, whatever. So they kind of left it to her just to be like, okay, that's your husband, like, that's technically like your daughter, like, you're the one that's gonna have to handle that. Like, no one else is gonna say anything. And so she kind of made it seem like she was gonna talk to him about it. We don't know what came out of it, honestly, because everyone just kept talking about it amongst ourselves. We like started trying to like play a game and everything, but like obviously that was like the biggest elephant in the room, was that we had a goddamn 30-year-old man with a 22-year-old at the Thanksgiving, and it was just really a mess. Like, it just did not give. It didn't give. It just wasn't giving anything. Oh my gosh, I forgot to say, this is, I guess you can't see it, I've had this Fenty concealer for so long. This is the Fenty, you know, the stick, did I say concealer? Fenty contour in the shade Espresso. And so I just use like a little bit of that, like, and then I'm gonna use powder to keep like blending that out so it won't be a super harsh line. But you guys, that story was just so crazy because no one was expecting anything to happen. Like, it had been such a smooth Thanksgiving trip, but then that was all anyone could talk about the rest of the time. Just like, there's a random 32-year-old man that was at the house for Thanksgiving. So, you know, I need to know from you guys, have you ever brought an older man to your Thanksgiving dinner who you didn't introduce to anybody? And if you did, you were Super Bowl, but I want to hear about it. So thank you guys for tuning in. This my makeup look, you know? This is just every day, super natural, nothing too crazy. And I did my eyebrows off camera, but thank you guys for tuning in. Don't forget to like, subscribe. I have plenty more insane stories to tell. Bye.